that we thought, let's have a bit of a chat and a discussion to really demonstrate the power, get some perspectives from people who were there. So I've got a phenomenal panel group here. Outgone, because she's not going anymore, she's passed. Outgone virtual chapter president Ursula Buerta. We've got Brisha Bianca Badenhorst, who's joined us as well, and Terry Winship. We were all there, and I know there's some people who are here part of the Zoom today with us, who are also there. So I'm going to call on you later on. Some of you know who you are already, but just for your piece. And what is really exciting is the fact that I get to moderate this and chat about this so soon after the convention. I know there's people here who had FOMO because I was messaging them, you should have been here. Oh, you would have liked that speak. And they go, Tim, stop telling me. But I told them anyway. To really understand the value behind convention. I think that's what we're going to chat about here today. So before we actually go into, I've got some questions that I'm going to ask these amazing panelists. I would love each of you to just one at a time give a 30-second, 1 minute, just something that's close to your heart of what did this weekend mean? Just, this isn't the panel discussion. I've got some questions, just something very quickly about what did this weekend mean to you? Ursula, do you want to go first?
I knew you'd do that. This weekend felt, Tim, like a level up, and I'm really not just saying that. It did feel like they gave us so much value and they spoke to so many of my pain points that I'm feeling strengthened in that way. It was also, yeah, an incredible opportunity to speak on the stage. It is the scariest thing to speak to in a room of people that you admire and who are like, incredible. Like they like the rock stars to me and then to share. So I think that felt very rewarding and very special. I'm going to stop there.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Terry.
So I think for me, it was connecting with Zoom people that I could now see and hug and have a coffee with. It makes such an incredible difference to sit and talk to someone as opposed. So we connect on Zoom, we really do, and we kind of make friends, but literally being able to give them a hug and you feel a different presence. So I think for me, one of the biggest things was it was my first convention and I met 80 people that I didn't ever know. So that was amazing and very different from Zoom. And while I might be the Zoom queen, I still loved being there in person.
Fantastic. Love that. Love that. Brisha.
Yeah, I've reflected a lot over this weekend and having met everyone, but something that really stood out for me was one of the speakers shared so openly about the behind the scenes struggles on building a speaking career. And that is something that we don't always post or talk about publicly. And that raw honesty reminded me that vulnerability is not a weakness in this industry, especially in what I do as well. It is actually our greatest strength. And it also affirmed my message, rooted in lived experience. And that has a powerful place on any stage. And that is what I want to share.
That's amazing. So we're starting off here with some real honest discussions where Ursula's talking about just feeling stronger and being on stage. And we're going to dig a little bit into the importance of that in front of your peers and how, why is it terrifying to be on stage in front of your peers when otherwise we can stand in front of a couple of hundred people who are clients and it just seems easier. To Terry saying real people. Yeah. And that's when you look at them and you go, you're taller than you thought you were going to be, or shorter or wider, whichever it is. Down to Brisha, just the raw honesty and realizing that we're all going through this and everybody goes through this and you're not alone. And just the fear, that just the sheer fact that people are there to share openly of their experience and their stories. So thank you for the start. That's a beautiful kickoff. I'm going to ask each of you to pick one standout moment or one session or experience that really made an impact for you. That one piece that just stood out and you connected directly with that. Who would like to go first? Terry, go ahead.
So for me, it was Lorraine Jenks when she accepted her award. And she told this devastating story with such authentic honesty. And to me, it felt like it just cracked open that entire room, actually. And while so many of the presentations were amazing and clever and stats and whatever, that presentation for me hit me like right in my heart. And I thought she was incredibly brave. I don't think I could stand. I can't even talk to you without wanting to cry on her behalf. But for me, that was a moment of such deep connection between everyone in the room. The feelings of the people towards her and her bravery to share with us, that I found amazing.
So Terry, just to help people who are here perhaps for the first time or guests understand, what she won an award because on the gala dinner, awards are given out to people who exemplify speaking or time. So what was Lorraine's award? What did she win?
Oh my goodness, help.
Lifetime.
That
wasn't Lifetime. Is it a Lifetime Achievement Award?
It's actually such a great question because we do have to, it's actually important for us to know what the awards are.
It is.
And for us to nominate people when it comes to next year's convention, because I think we get these nomination sheets. Half of us don't know who are some of the people. I'm hijacking Terry's question, but we don't know like who's doing what. And I think it's so important to start like educating ourselves because this is setting the goals and the standards for what we can move into, right?
Definitely. So thanks for that. Yes. So, okay. Oh, maybe if somebody else who's here remembers, put in the chat box, please. What I know it was phenomenal and it's extremely heartfelt. Brescia.
Wasn't it the Educator Hall of Fame Award?
No.
Yes, her picture. I checked it on LinkedIn. Her picture is on the board and it says Educator Hall of Fame Award at the top.
It's Educator Hall of Fame. So we'll recheck. So thank you, Brescia, for that. That's a massive thing for that gala dinner is the recognition. So recognition, I think, is huge, definitely, because the people who are getting recognized have achieved so much in the speaking profession and give back in service so much. But what it does for myself, my perspective, just quickly on Terry's point, is I can see what entirely is possible and what it takes to actually be a real, genuine person. We're here in service. We're here voluntarily. When you give, you receive. And the humbleness from every single person, including Steph, which is absolutely amazing because you get to meet, as Terry said before, the people, the real authenticity behind it is very, very powerful. So thanks for that, Terry. So Ursula, what's that thing that stood out, that standout moment or session?
Okay. So thank you. So this is what stood out for me because it talks to my need. There were two talks. Ray Patterson's talk on the sales conversation. It just leveled me up in my sales conversation. He gave us 4 parts to a sales conversation and exactly how to structure those parts. And he gave us words to say in the sales conversation. And he gave us takeaways. And I thought and I wanted to talk about handouts and takeaways and what you give your audience. So Ray's conversation about that sales conversation. Then Ruby, it's interesting because Ruby's talk was on a video and I kind of switched off, but she gave me so much value. She said in her sales conversations, she used to give this handout, her talk of her list of services. And once a client said to her, read this. And it's pages and pages and pages. He said, I'm not willing to read this. And she came up with her menu of services, which is concise, to the point, speaks to the need. And then she asks her clients to rate where they are in those areas. And then, you know, she's got the solution to offer them. This is the course, this is the keynote, this is the journey I can take you on. So she's immediately talking to that pain point, and she gave us that handout. So that to me shifted and gave me ideas. I'm not going to exactly bring their systems on, but you know, you make it your own. And that I'm just going to go with what that inspired. You know, I always think about like what you give the audience. And I know Carolyn Strauss, I don't know if she's there, but when she came last year, like she gave her audience like chocolates. She like came and she's like, here's a gift from America. And I will never forget that, Carolyn. Like I thought it was so special. And what I realized, like a lot of the speakers would give a handout, or they would give a bookmark, or something. And I think it makes it more engaging, it makes it tangible, and it makes the experience rich. So I'm definitely taking that with me and implementing more of the tangible stuff you can give people. Thank you, Tim.
I'm going to jump and agree with you there. When you've got a weekend filled with so many amazing speakers, and every single speaker, I mean, I can't remember, how many speakers did we have over the 3 days? Lots. Sometimes it can get a little bit meshed. So to give something to in your audience where they can actually go, because we're all going to sit and I've got my pile I'm still going through here, and refer back to that, you've got something solid that takes it further than just that 20 or 25-minute keynote is powerful. And that's a good message. What are you leaving your audience with apart from your words? Stunning. Thank you. Prisha, your standout moment.
To sum it all up, what I got from the speakers is them owning their niche without apology. And it was a reminder that the very thing that I used to tone down, my story, my raw truth, and my background, that is actually the most powerful tool that you have, and with which the speakers showed us. And it affirmed that I don't need to soften my message to make it more palatable. There's a space and a stage for real stories that make people uncomfortable, because they also make people wake up. As a personal storyteller, I relate more to those that tell their stories from personal life experience. And that was obviously significant for me, having been in that space myself. But the wake-up calls and the aha moments from all the speakers.
Brilliant. Definitely. Again, it goes back to the raw authenticity and sort of getting permission to say, it's okay. We want to hear your unique story. You've got 2 or 3 people talking on sales, but it's that individual person's unique story that makes them different. And it's okay to share that. So that's brilliant, especially when it comes to your stories, Prisha. It's all about the power behind that raw, honest, the deep down stuff, bottom. That's the message. So fantastic. And thanks to Diana, who was on the organizing committee. She put there in the chat that there was 23 speakers. That's a lot of voice and a lot of message and wisdom over 3 days. It really, really is. The next question here. What was one unexpected insight or takeaway that shifted your perspective or approach in your work? Unexpected takeaway that shifted. Who would like to go first? Terry.
So Mike Hancock and Lundy Jack. Mike had made a statement about making big moves on stage, or dramatic moves. And I think, and apologies to anyone here from Toastmasters, I find Toastmasters over-dramatizes stuff. And I had swung to the exact opposite and never moved on the stage. And then actually started understanding that somewhere between the over-dramatize and the statue is a nice limit. But if you're on a big stage, you need to make bigger moves, and a smaller stage, possibly smaller moves. But just the way he explained it helped me clear my thinking around because I don't like overdramatic talks, and I was swinging to the wrong way, and he kind of set me straight. So I wasn't expecting that kind of advice, and I found it very useful.
Amazing. I'm going to hook into that to give my perspective on exactly what you're speaking about. So I had the honor and the privilege to speak. I wouldn't recommend doing it 3 times. 2 of them were very staged, scripted. That's the script. It was timed. Move here, do that, make drama. And the third one, which was the Saturday afternoon, was the opportunity to be myself. And reflecting back afterwards, can see how, as speakers, we need to find that line between the showmanship and the authentic, natural flow. And I would believe that that comes from experience. Having videoed yourself, seeing it, feeling it, and getting the feedback from the audience. So it's very much that how big and dramatic you make it when you're on a big stage, but that it's natural and not forced, which is sometimes can happen with the scripting. And that was my message that I link into exactly what you're talking about, Terry, that sat with me. So thank you for that. Brilliant. So yeah, Mike and Lundy Jack, fantastic speakers. Who's next? Bishla.
Unexpected, because, you know, when you're a little bit, you think you know it all, and you think this area you're fine in. So Helen, on the last day from the networking company, she did an exercise. So she was very good with getting the wisdom in the room. Here, so she had in her talk, she did a prize. You can win her book if you answer the questions. So she got great engagement for that. So it's a good reminder of we can do things like that. And then she did an elevator pitch thing. And, I think I know my elevator pitch. I've got my elevator pitch sorted. And then she let us do our elevator pitches to the person who's next to us in her format. And my elevator pitch wasn't so great. and so that was a great insight. And then the person that I got to share and practice on, we were coaching each other and we were helping each other. And we also formed a really cool bond. So that was an really unexpected piece for me. And I think that's just, again, showing that it's really nice when you can let your audience share their wisdom. And yeah, it's maybe not for everyone, but that was a moment.
Brilliant. Unexpected moment. Risha, what was your unexpected moment?
I walked away with a deeper understanding of how important positioning is. How I am not just a speaker, but a solution to someone's pain point. And that shifted my thinking from telling my story to strategically shaping it so that it serves the audience more directly. So it's not just about impact, it's about intentional impact. And that was it for me.
So in that scenario, you spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, on videos, you've got a phenomenal way that you structure, and you've got a brand which is very clearly shown on there. So is this message not only what you're talking about on stage, but you're talking about for your marketing?
Yes, absolutely. There's always been a plan for the marketing, and I would lose myself rather than lose my marketing plan. I'm very intentional about my marketing, but yes, definitely both ways.
Excellent. All right. Thank you. When I go to these events, and Terry touched on this, my next question at the beginning. When I go to these events, especially because like many of us here in the virtual chapter, we live online. The opportunity to see the people in person is massive. So how has that networking, aside from the speakers, it's what happens outside the room, in the tea breaks, meeting people for breakfast, the after, how valuable is that networking to your growth? Talk about that. Oh, Terry's going first. We're going in. We don't have to, but you're welcome to.
Well, it's easy if I go first, then I can't steal what I was going to say, and I'm going to think of something else. Okay. I collaborated all over the place. I was like collaboration city. And one thing I do want to say is even before the conference, I collaborated with Bruce Wade and we wrote a Zoom book, and Bruce got it printed and distributed. So Bruce, thank you if you're there. Thank you for that. And when you collaborate and work with someone, you see a different side of them, and you see what their working stuff is like. And we work together very well. But at least another person I've been speaking to possibly for about 5 years was Jacques de Villiers. Now we both run Pecha Kucha, me in Cape Town, him in Joburg, and I know it's got nothing to do with PSA, but this is our hunting fields for speakers. But we sat and had a coffee together and really connected and struggled over the same things. So that was great. I was at varsity with Arthur Goldstuck. And I had some photographs of him wearing a skirt at drag. So we had some good moments of connecting. Steve Johnson, we chatted about some possible collaboration with Toastmasters and having a conduit between the two organizations, hoping that Toastmasters will be a feeder into PSA. So with a lot of people, there was something that came out of it, something for me to do, something for me to look forward. So I think you can have conversations on the phone, but once again, sitting, having a coffee and just brainstorming and feeling like someone's energy and going, okay, yeah, we can run with this. So yeah, I've got at least 4 or 5 projects on the go that have come out of there. And that's exciting. And I guess the other thing for me is, goodness me, it's compulsory to write a book if you're a speaker. So on my list is Terry to write a book.
Amazing.
Have it.
All right.
Yes, it's definitely, it's always like a year highlight to me. Convention is such a highlight, and any other speaker convention. And like I did share in my book, and not my book, I wish, in my talk, that when I bumped into Steph at the Bali Global Speaker Summit, and I said to him, what's the one thing I need? Like, give me advice for my first global convention. And he said, just build relationships, like make friends. And that's what this community is about. It's about making the pie bigger. And it's great. It's great when you do connect with people and you build that rapport and that trust. And sometimes it does turn into, oh, I've got spillover work, and that turns into work. But that's not fully the intention, right? It's building the relationship and the trust. And good things do come out of it in any case. And yeah, so I think this pie is so big. There's another part about, I don't know, I really do struggle with the energy management of people. So I find that after like a convention like that, I crawl into my home and I have a little cry just because I have to like release all the high that you were on, and just like release and sleep. And yeah, I think there's that. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I find that the people element sometimes gets much for me.
Finding that balance is very, very important. Yes, each to their own as well. Crucial. Prisha.
Ursula, most of us are introverts, so that is how we recharge. These events drain every bit of energy out of us. The relationships that I built over this weekend was honestly next level. I didn't just exchange business cards, which are LinkedIn contacts now. We don't do business cards anymore. I had real conversations with people who get it. There are not many people in my circle, and maybe I believe for other speakers too, who we can speak to about our speaking business, who really get it and who really understand, and this passion that we have. I've already started collaborating with one of the attendees, and another introduced me to someone who might help me to get my key topics into schools and on a national scale. And it was networking with depth and purpose. Yes, amazing experience.
Networking with depth and purpose. Without question, the networking becomes a massive part of what it is all about. And if there's a spin-off that there's business, which turns into greater cash flow, bonus. But it's those connections and building the relationships with your peers, connecting. And one of the things that I found in my first convention last year, and give a thumbs up if you agree with this, is that the genuine want of everybody to openly share their lessons, what their pain points were, how they struggled, and giving real, genuine, solid advice, but without holding back. That the one discussion that always comes up, billing. How do I charge? How much do I charge? And just asking people, there, Karen, give thanks, gives a thumbs up. Just to ask people who've been in the industry for years, but how do you know how much to charge? But you can have these conversations over a cup of coffee. It's a massive difference. So with the networking side, because I'm living in Langebaan, and the convention for the last 2 years been in Gauteng, wait for the announcement if you don't know where next year's is. I fly up 2 days before, and I pre-schedule networking with people that I've connected with over the meetings and I set up. So I based myself in one coffee shop that everybody, because I don't want to drive in Gauteng, to move around and meet me for from various places. And those collaborations outside and ahead of the actual convention really help to ingrain it. So if you're going to fly up, you're going to fly to the convention because we're virtual. We're going to travel to get there. Make it worth your while. Those are the solid ones. That would be my take on when it comes to the networking and the huge growth. So if someone's on the fence, we're going to talk about 2026 just now.
Only have 4 minutes.
If somebody's on the fence about a convention, what would you say to them?
I would.
Appreciate you go first.
Okay,
Terry, no, Terry, I'm swapping it around.
that's good. You go.
This was your first Brescia. You haven't been long with the PSASA. Something made you say, I'm going to spend the money, the time to drive up. What would you say to somebody sitting on the fence?
Jump off and go. You are not just investing in an event, you are investing in your calling. And whether you are starting out or have years of experience, you will find clarity, community, and the kind of practical tools that shift your momentum. So jump.
Fantastic. There we go. Enough said. Jump.
It's definitely a back yourself move. I mean, I feel like I don't need to convince anyone to do it. It's, get the super duper early bird special ticket or the next one. Like, just do whatever it takes, get there, because it is like what you were saying earlier. It is not only the listening to the speakers, but the little side conversations and little questions here. So Priya Moyo, he said to me, "Oh, Ursula, you're being so kind." I said to him, "You just gave me, told me how you do things, that if I do that, it's going to supercharge my business." He was being kind, and it's in those little connections. So it's absolutely, absolutely worth it.
Brilliant.
Do it.
Terry.
Tim?
We'll come to Sir Anton. We'll come to some questions shortly. You're welcome to put in chat in the meantime, but I will open up for some Q&A in a second.
No, I didn't want to ask a question. I wanted to add something.
Sure, we'll come to that shortly, Anton. We'll keep a structure here, but we'll open up to you shortly. Is that all right?
Sure.
Thanks, man.
So yeah, for me, I would say, hey, do you want to make 80 new friends? Absolutely. 80 people who are going to help you, 80 people that you can pick up the phone for, the email, the WhatsApp, they're going to help you. How could you not decide to go? Yeah. Networking with depth and purpose for sure. Networking/friendship.
Brilliant. 80 new friends. Love that. Back yourself and jump off and just go. For the second year in a row, I left there with the saying in my head, speakers are made at convention. If you're serious about becoming that speaker who you would like to become, convention's where you get made. Not only do you get recognized and seen by your peers and other people, you learn, yes, 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 but it's about yourself. And that to me is a massive thing. So if you are serious at any point in upgaming, in lifting and being that speaker that you'd like to be, then it's done a convention. You don't go to convention, you're not going to become that speaker. It's the faster track from what you'll pick up. Very much so. So my last question for the panel before we do open up to Anton, and then I would love to hear your take on the additions there. The last one is one word or one phrase that sums up the vibe or the energy that you get at convention. What would it be? Ursula, you go first this time.
Value.
Wow.
That's it.
Got it. Terry.
I came as a fire virgin and I left with a lot of electric and heart.
And for those who are not sure what Terry means by fire virgin, we've got Kobus in the house. I think he's still here, and he's the fire walker. So on Friday nights, for those brave enough, we walked on fire. Terry did it twice because she can.
There was extra, you know.
Prisha.
Terry, great minds think alike. I just rephrased it differently. Authentic fire. That is for people using their voices on people on fire, using their voices to make a difference.
People on fire using their voices to make a difference. Wow.